a 2008 Hummer H3 and needed to program the chip on the speedometer for that vehicle. Replaced the BCM, and that caused the odometer to stop working. I have the original mileage, or the accurate mileage, on the odometer, and what I want to do is sync the two. You don't really sync them. What you do is you zero the mileage on the chip from the speedometer, and then you program the mileage into the chip on the BCM, and the speedometer will contact the BCM and retrieve that data from it and display it on the display. Well, the chip that comes off of the speedo is the 93C56WP. I know because I pulled the speedometer and removed the circuit board, and then I removed the chip from the circuit board. Here is the circuit board. Let's see if I can find where I pulled that chip off. There we go. So to locate it, it is to the left of this chip, labeled Z301. Now now that I already have it off, it's not easy for you to see, but the number 1 position, as I recall, when I had it in this orientation, number 1 on the chip was I believe it was right here. And the chip, I took it off and I soldered it. Oh, by the way, for taking out that circuit board, it's somewhat convoluted. You have to remove the plastic cover on the dashboard. It just snaps out. And then there's 4 screws that hold the assembly into the dash. You take out those 4 screws, pull out the odometer assembly, the display. There's 1 wire connecting it in the back. Disconnect the wire. Remove the unit. Take the plastic lens off on the front. Pull the dial hands off, all the dials. There's a video out there on YouTube tells you how to do that. Then you take something like 6 screws off the back that hold the circuit board on. Then you remove the circuit board. Then you get to the stage I was at, where you then remove the chip. I desoldered the chip. Okay. Now most of my information I got from this fella here. Hummer H3 not counting miles, EEPROM to the rescue. But a lot of information wasn't provided because he used an Autel system to read the chip, and I'm using the CH341A. And most people are familiar with the CH341A. It's this unit here. This is the A Black, the A Pro, CH341A Pro. And for reading this chip, you'll need the jumper in this position. So across these 2 terminals, you'll put your jumper. When reading the chip, it's in this, there's 2 boxes here. One is for the 24XX. The other set is for the 25XX. So you're going to use the 25XX. Number 1 pin would ordinarily go here, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 8 on your 4-pin chip. But this chip is different. This chip, you actually have to wire it in. Just give me a second while I go grab the chip. You end up with this dog's breakfast. What I've done is I've soldered my chip onto one of the little boards that comes with the CH341A kit. And on there you can see that pin 1 of the chip is right here. See the number? So that's pin 2, pin 3, pin 4. Pin 5 is on this side. Oh, get this in there. Down there. 6, 7, and 8. Okay, well, as I said, they don't actually line up with this. So what I've done is I have put little jumper wires onto the corresponding terminals. On this projection on the top here, number 1 is here, 2 is here, 3 is here, 4 is here. So number 1 here is actually wired into number 1 there. Number 2 here, and when I say wired in, I mean it's printed on the circuit board, is connected to 2 here. 3 here is connected to 3 there. 4 here is connected to 4 there, etc. So knowing that, and knowing this, where is it here? Got it here. Got this information from Neoprogrammer. If we put the chip into Neoprogrammer, see if I've got it open here. AS Programmer, Neoprogrammer. Let's put in this chip. It is a microwire, generic, 93C56, 16-bit 5-volt. And then if we go read IC, no, it's not going to do it unless I plug it in. Here we go. So I've plugged the CH341A into my USB port, and then I've pressed the read button, and Neoprogrammer comes up with this screen. This is the 93CXX adapter for the CH341 programmer. 16-bit mode, pin 6 is not connected. So pin 1 goes into the pin 1 slot, connects to that. Pin 2 though actually connects to the 5, 6 slot. Pin 3 connects to the 5 slot. Pin 4 connects to the 2 slot. Pin 5 connects to the 4 slot. Pin 6 is not connected. Pin 7 is not connected. Pin 8 connects to the 8 slot. So with this information at hand, I went ahead and did all those connections. So I've simply taken those jumper wires, plugged them into the appropriate ports. Remember, this jumper must be on your CH341A in the 1-2 position there. And then I plugged it in and I was able to read it. Well, with the TacoSoft mileage calculator, it tells me that I go to 00D0 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the 9th position, I change whatever code is there to 00000000. This zeros the odometer, but this number is recorded in 2 places in that file, in that bin file, at the 00F0 coordinate. The first 4 have to be changed to 00000000. So, what does that look like? Okay, I've already changed it. Column 00D0. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then in the 9th position, I put in 00000000. And then in the 00F0 position, the first 4 blocks become 00000000. Okay, well, I changed it and saved it, and then I wrote it to the chip. Now, if you're not familiar with using Neoprogrammer, once you get a read, so I have an original read, so I saved it So when I read off the chip, I saved it and I called it original. And then after editing this, I saved it again. I saved it on my other computer, but I'll save it here just to show you. I would name it mileage 0 or something like that and save it. Then I would write it to the chip, and you write with, there it is, the blue one, write IC. So I wrote it to the chip. Once it's written to the chip, now I've got to put that chip back into the odometer, or into the speedometer cluster. So I've got to solder it back in again. Once I have that done, then I have to change the BCM. And I've previously taken my BCM chip out and removed the chip. Might be able to do it in the board with a clip. And I'm going to program mileage into that. And programming the mileage into that is done as shown here. Coordinate 0080. Say I wanted to put in 139,806 miles. Then the code for that is 215514CO. So this 17D78400 that they show here, I would make that 215514C. Looks like a 0. And then I will reinstall the BCM. And then I'm going to start the vehicle. But this is the first step. I have it programmed. I will video that soldering just for posterity. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it, but I will include it. I think I'm going to use hot air to get that off. Before I do, I'm going to disconnect it from the CH341A, make it easier to handle, so I'm pulling all those leads out. Oh, we got some flux on it. Get my hot air. And a pair of tweezers. And I've got this on a really low air setting at only 360 degrees. The solder I work with, I think it melts at 185. Hot air is nice because, you know, you're melting all of the connections at the same time. Make a liar out of me as far as the temperature. There we go. It's off. Grab the circuit board for the speedometer. There we go. There's our spot. And I cleaned the flux off there before, so let's put some down again. So again, I'm not going to get that too terribly hot. Same setting as I was using a minute ago. And we'll preheat the board. There is no circular mark on this. There's a little tiny indentation on one corner that tells you where pin 1 is. You actually have to turn the chip to see it. Yeah, you see that mark in the corner there? That's pin 1. I think we've got it. I'm going to go over that with a soldering iron just to make sure all those contacts are good. All right, we're done. Thanks for watching.